Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Mandala Effect. I hope you are well, and in fact, no, let me rephrase that. How are you? And I want you to answer either silently or out loud, honestly, how are you? This week's episode is about speaking your truth and how by speaking your truth you can step into your more authentic self, and from a place of authenticity you can begin to create something new for your life, a new story, a new narrative for your life, a narrative aligned with truth. And now in truth there lies a huge liberation, a huge freedom. Think about a time maybe when you have had to keep a secret. It wasn't yours to keep, you didn't want to keep it, but you felt you had to, you were asked to. How did that feel? Was it like a shackle? Was it or you go to the coffee shop and you meet this person, you have coffee with them, but there's something that they don't know that you can't tell them that you really want to tell them, even if it's something as simple as like a surprise birthday party, like keeping that secret, or what you're getting somebody for their birthday. I know how hard I find it to keep birthday presents a surprise. So when you think about a time when you've had to consciously lie, whether it's a white lie or a relatively big lie, like how heavy does that feel on your body, on your mind, on your emotions? And it will affect you in ways that you don't even know. So let's go back to the question I asked a couple of minutes ago. How are you? What is the honest answer to that? Without getting into a story, without getting into why, just answer to yourself, how are you? How are you feeling? How is your energy? How are you emotionally? How are you physically? How are you mentally? How do you feel right now? And there's probably two answers there. There's probably the answer that comes up automatically, which is either I'm fine or I'm great. And for some people it's, oh, I'm shit. I know different people in my life that would have, one of those answers. And for me, it's always, yeah, I'm great. I'm doing really well, thanks. Yeah, life's amazing. And if you're watching the YouTube, you'll notice the smile. Like, yeah, I'm great. I got it. And then there's probably the other answer, and that answer is probably a pull in the body. There is probably a tug somewhere, a twinge that says, hold on a second, you're lying to yourself, you're lying to them. Are you okay? How am I really? And then there's probably like a voice inside going, oh, but what about me? Oh, she doesn't see me. Oh, we don't matter. When we're not speaking our truth, even in a question as simple as this, where are we not speaking our truth? Everywhere. When we're not speaking our truth, we're not being true to ourselves. We're not able to be our true selves. And the whole point of what I hope to do in this lifetime that I've been gifted is to help people realize freedom, and to help people realize that true wealth, love, freedom all lies within us. We already have it. We already have access to it. We just have these layers upon layers upon layers in front of us that we sort of have to peel away to access this freedom. But speaking our truth is one of the quickest ways that we can access freedom. And that can be speaking your truth to something as simple as next time somebody asks how you are, actually tell them. Have no expectations on their response. What they respond actually doesn't matter in this scenario. They may respond with, wow, okay, I'm here to hold you. How can I help you? And then they may respond with, oh, okay, not really knowing what to do with it. And, everybody's different. So also, one of the reasons we actually don't express our truth is because we don't feel safe to. And so it's our ego that is holding us back from expressing our truth, because the ego doesn't feel it's safe to tell our truth. And that's the whole point of the ego, to tell our truth and to be seen, heard, safe, survive. So this is why we lie about when somebody asks how we are, or this is why we lie about how we actually feel about somebody or about something, or to keep the peace. And I've actually just written a newsletter to my list, which is where the inspiration in this has come from myself not speaking my truth in a couple of areas of my life. One being something that I've been holding myself about my health, and not letting anybody in on that, and actually, and because I'm afraid, and because of my unconscious programming, that if I was to tell anybody, I would burden them. So I actually have just stepped up and spoke my truth to somebody who I thought might want to know, and who might want to offer me some support. And it lightens the load, because all of a sudden I'm not keeping a secret, and I have support, and I feel lighter. And then in another way is with who I am. What our ego does is it builds a persona that we show to the world, our mask that we present so that we are accepted. Anything that doesn't fit in with our persona gets pushed into the shadow. So you may have heard me speak about this before, but if we reject a part of our personality, it gets pushed into the shadow, and this is what will trigger us in other people. Like, say we push confidence into our shadow, somebody might be really confident and we might perceive them as arrogant, and that might trigger us. That might, oh, they're so arrogant, that might piss us off. It's just a part of you that you need to, it's been reflected to you for a reason, so that you can take it back and you can say, oh, actually I have this confidence in me. Sometimes it can be perceived as arrogance, and that's okay. I still love and accept myself. And I mean, there's a load more to shadow work than that, and it will trigger some quite deep emotions, but that's effectively what shadow work is. But this persona that we build is just the parts of us that we deemed safe to show the world. So I've used the example before of a little girl being quiet and being perceived as quiet and shy, and this is how she presents herself to the world, always believing that she's quiet and shy. And it might be that person that the confident, arrogant person triggers in the shadow. So we build this persona, and the persona of sorts is not the truth. It's not the whole truth, because we also have the shadow. So it was reflected to me in a conversation earlier that, where am I? Because I had a wild dream last night, which was about the persona. And if you want to go into dream work, watch this space. I'm creating a dream work journal, also creating a shadow work journal, just putting it out there. Watch this space. But I had an amazing dream last night that was massively about persona, and my persona, and the person that I show to the world, as well as old beginnings, losing losing a part of the old self and calling in a new creation. And so I see it as an opportunity for me to explore my persona and who I really am. And this comes hand in hand with shadow work. So as you work through some of this, you'll notice that layers of yourself, these layers that we talk about, layers of the ego, will be peeled back, and we'll learn to love and accept them. And as we learn to love and accept them, it becomes easier to speak our truth. And really that's what we're doing in all of this, is we're speaking all of this inner work, we're speaking our truth. We are being honest with ourselves about how we feel, what we want, who we are, who we want to be. The person that you want to be is already who you are. The person that you admire. And then so this conversation grew into gold. I think it was actually a link from my dream. I can't fully remember. There's a lot happened in the last 24 hours emotionally for me. And it was gold. And then we spoke about the inner gold that we have within us as well. And that's another part that our ego rejects, is the inner gold that we have within us. And we push that into our shadow. It's called the golden shadow. And so anybody that we might admire, I laugh because somebody who I used to really admire, and then unfortunately for him, not that he knows or cares, he really triggered me. So he's obviously my shadow. This person, I will not lie, is Stephen Bartlett from The Diary of a CEO. I really admired him and his confidence and everything he's built and done and achieved, and his podcasts and how he interviews and asks questions and so I really admired him, and I'd put him on a bit of a pedestal. So the parts of him that I admired were really just parts of me that are there for me to take back and love and accept and integrate into myself. And then he said something on social media a couple of years ago, that I felt was insensitive to my situation because I was going through cancer. And what does he know about deathbed thinking? He didn't. Whatever. What he said was actually really helpful to some people, but it just triggered me. And so then the golden shadow became the shadow. And then I disliked him for years, but now I've started to understand, as I've integrated these parts of me, I admire him and respect him on a different level now. I can't even remember the point where I was when I was telling you this. Just gathered myself and remembered my point and where I was. I was talking about the golden shadow. So, and how this also relates to speaking our truth. And so our golden shadow are the parts of us that we project onto other people, that we then admire in other people. So the Stephen Bartlett's excellent ability to interview and ask difficult questions and be very present with a guest, ask questions related to them that the audience are interested in listening to. Somebody else who I admire, Kyle Cease, for his soulfulness, for his depth. Who else? Let's see. In my dream last night, there was a perfect kind of golden shadow of a beautiful, chilled out, supermodel vibe woman who just had this really relaxed, gorgeous vibe. And, that's reflecting part of my golden shadow. So these parts of me that my ego hasn't felt safe for me to express, and that has then been pushed out into my shadow, and I'm rejecting it. So whenever we're rejecting a part of ourselves, we're not speaking our full truth. We are not able to be authentic. Why does this matter? Well, when we want to consciously create our life, and when you want to manifest the life of your dreams, while ever you're lying to yourself, while ever you're not being who you truly are, while ever you're lying about how you're feeling and what you're going through, you're going to create from a space of inauthenticity, and you're going to bring back experiences that aren't aligned with your truth. So it's a really good idea to start understanding who you are fully, truthfully, within your soul, and expressing her, learning who she is, learning how she walks, talks, looks, plays, has fun, learning how you want to see the world, how you want to experience the world, and go and explore. That is, like, have fun. It keeps coming back to me that we're human. I love nothing more than meditating, sitting, floating in the ether, vibrating in a state of total bliss, completely ignorant to what's going on in my human life. I love that. Unfortunately for my ego, I don't always enjoy human life. And there are parts of me that sometimes wish I could push the stop button and get the fuck out. But that's not why my soul is here, and that is not why I'm here. So I also, as part of my authenticity and truth and humanness, have to learn to love myself, but have to learn to accept life, accept the messiness. Yes, love the messiness. Experience as the true self, as the observer, as the witness. And from this space, we can create. And we can create a future aligned, a present aligned with our truth. And when we align with our truth, this is when the magic happens. This is when stuff just happens because and synchronicities fall into your life. You're given gifts that you weren't expecting. I have been given a huge gift because I am doing this work. I walk my talk. I am deep in it and I am working through it. I always say I thought my shit would end with cancer. No, it keeps on going. And what I'm learning to do is lean into it, experience it, get a little down and dirty with it. And I was given a huge gift of coming and house sitting for my mum for a few months while she takes an interim role in Scotland. And I get to come back to my home county of Derbyshire, rural countryside, be around nature. I mean, I was already in nature, I had the sea, but be in an environment where I feel safe to come and experience a lot of what I am experiencing at the moment. And heal some inner child wounds and bring, like, sort of put myself back together in a way and learn who I really am. Because a lot of who we really are, we reject when we're children. So it all comes back to the childhood, to home, to family. And can we be our true selves around our family? This is one thing I personally find quite difficult because my family see me one way, but actually I'm learning I'm so much more than that. And can I show that to my family? Do I feel safe enough that I will be loved and accepted by my family? The truth is, when you love and accept yourself, you will be loved and accepted by the world. So when you start to integrate your shadow parts and speak your truth and show up with full authenticity, then you're loving and accepting yourself, and then you're in for a magical ride. Yes, life will still throw challenges because we're here to grow. We're not here to be perfect, as mentioned last week. We're not here to be perfect. We're not here for the easy ride. But when you can love and accept yourself is when love just flows into your life. It is just the energy that you vibe at. It is the frequency that comes in. And this is when the magic shit starts to happen. You're giving gifts unexpectedly, like a beautiful 6-month retreat in the countryside. And you are given what you need next. The path just unfolds for you. It's how it works. It just unfolds. You get out of your own way, you surrender, you let go, you accept, love and accept, love and accept. The path unfolds for you and you flow. This is quite a theme with my clients at the moment as well, is this surrender. How can I love and accept myself for who I am, exactly where I am right now, without trying to change anything, without trying to create, without trying to manifest, without, yes, have your goals, have your dreams, have your vision, but ultimately let your soul guide you. As you step more into your authenticity, you speak your truth, you express who you really are, your the whole of your personality, you love the whole of your personality, the more life will unfold before you, and the less work you have to do, the less trying you have to do. You just are, and you just be, and you become, and that is when the life of your dreams happens. Speak your truth, live the life of your dreams. Simple. So my friends, I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope you really enjoyed this. If you're looking for some private coaching of a spiritual sense, then you can book in a 30-minute complimentary call with myself where we'll kind of hatch a plan of how we can move forward together and how you can start stepping into your authenticity, embracing your shadow, and creating from a conscious place rather than manifesting unconsciously, which is currently what you're doing if you're not doing this work. If you want to chat about that, let me know. And if you liked this episode, please follow, share, subscribe. I am so grateful for everybody who listens to this podcast, everybody who leaves me a review, everybody who likes, everybody who just participates in some way. This is one of my favorite parts of what I do and what I get to do in this world. It keeps me sane and helps me actually bring it's very cathartic for me. I find it just flows. I love it. So thank you so much for helping me keep this podcast growing, and I'm super thrilled with everything. So thank you so much. I'm very grateful to you all, and have a beautiful week.